Okay, well, I'm here to talk about my book, Beneath a Black and White Sky, A Year Among Condors at Pinnacles National Park. I guess I'll start with some background information. I've been fascinated by condors since I was a little boy. I remember being 7 years old, my grandparents taking me and my brother down to Disneyland for the first time. And to be honest with you, I couldn't care less about Mickey Mouse or rides. I was aware that condors flew over the mountains of near Los Angeles, and I remember driving through the grapevine and looking up and looking for condors. And needless to say, not surprising, I didn't see any. Uh, that would wait. I'd have to wait several more years for that. So in 1984, I went down to Southern California with a group from Audubon, and I saw my first condor. That was at about a distance of 3 miles, and that was pretty cool, but not exactly fulfilling. I went back the next year in 1985 on my own, and I was there all by myself, and I waited 6 hours and 45 minutes without seeing anything, and then all of a sudden, right over the ridge, a condor flew right over my head about 50 feet. And it was a transcendental experience for me. It was, if I wasn't hooked before, I certainly was hooked then. So I had a good friend come up to me and say, well, what's your next book about? And I looked at her and said, it ain't gonna be no next book. I said all that I had to say in the Diablo Diary. I got nothing left to talk about. Even if I did, what could I talk about with any degree of authority? She looks at me as if I'm crazy, and she goes, Joseph, you could write a book about condors. I would go home at night, starting January 1st, 2017, I'd write up my field notes, and that's how it started. Now, field notes do not a book make. In the middle of the book, I spend some time talking about lead poisoning, which is the biggest impediment to condor recovery and is the biggest source of mortality. So I thought there was a good need. All the literature that I've read have been peer-reviewed papers, which of course are great, but they don't really synthesize everything. So I'm trying to read all those things and put it all together and have a conversation about lead poisoning. What if I was to tell you, here's a hot take, you could get better information about California condors by watching an episode of the Beverly Hillbillies than you can watching a National Geographic documentary. Funny how I can recall a half-hour TV show I saw 40 years ago, yet forget the password I created last week.